Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're doing an evaluation of the Unified User Experience, or UUE, from Ivenix. Today we're talking about how click reduction can improve your contact center. Let's start with a question. When is the appropriate time to consider click reduction as a way to improve your labor investment to outcome ratios? What are the most popular methods today for reducing clicks and agent labor? As a manager or team leader in the contact center space, I mean, you may have the feeling that your agents are working too hard for no reason, spinning their wheels. Thus, an evaluation is important for agent labor, to become an exercise in determining, how much time is being wasted. Is time being wasted? Are resources being wasted? For example, if agents are having to perform multiple tasks that are redundant, and they could make use of templates, that's a great example of click reduction. Then you have wasted labor costs. If you're currently not automating that, then you have wasted labor. By way of comparison, accuracy is another factor, when it comes to click reduction and automation. So, helping your agents again by templating things out, or by having the system read a data field and send an update. That's, rather than the agent even having to select the template, the system can do it on its own. If your agents are having to perform tedious tasks, you're really just wasting labor. Ad nauseum. It's important to separate the human labor from the automated labor, because the margin of error is there above and beyond wasted labor, wasted costs. The margin of error it can be frustrating for the customer. So let's take a use case of the medical industry and talk a little bit about click reduction. In this use case, basically the client was working it from back to front. I'm not going to name the client, but when a call would come in to set an appointment, they were setting appointments for multiple clinics, across an entire state. And the agent had to collect three major pieces of data, which was, is this particular doctor looking for new patients? What procedure are they willing to do? What procedures are they willing to do? And what insurance does the patient have? That would lead to an 11-minute phone call, and I'll tell you why. Each doctor had spreadsheets, separate spreadsheets for their guidance. And so the agent would have to go through doctor by doctor and find a doctor that matched all the criteria. So you can see how that would be cumbersome. They would go in and they would find a doctor who is accepting new patients, but they don't do that procedure. Okay, now I got to start over. Now I find a doctor that is accepting new patients, and they do that procedure, but they don't accept the insurance. Oh, I've got to start over again. So basically you've got kind of a slot machine. All three of the wheels need to line up before that agent can book the appointment. And the sad thing about it is they're just going randomly, doctor by doctor, to book the appointment, which means that there's no logic, there's no business intelligence applied to which doctors are getting their appointments. So if the listing of doctors, going from top to bottom is alphabetical, then you're talking about the doctors whose names start with A, whose last names start with A, getting their appointments booked more often and at a higher priority than other doctors, just because they're at the top of the list. Those are the disadvantages that you engage with, that you invite when you work a process from back to front. So, what we had done is worked with them to import all the data. So our system is great. It's an enterprise grade CRM. That's not its primary functionality, but it does have an enterprise grade CRM as the backbone. And we can build an agent screen or multiple agent screens on top of that CRM backbone, right? So we have the data sets that we import. We imported the parameters for all those different doctors. And so all the doctor parameters are imported, all the insurance parameters are imported. We know who's accepting new patients. We can dynamically change that as needed. Each medical office has control over their insurance information, and everything is a lot less cumbersome, right? The management and input of the data was terrible because they were using spreadsheets for it. And now they've imported that into our system. So if they wanted to add an insurance provider or multiple insurance providers, they just simply add those records or link those records. If the insurance provider is already in the system, they just link that insurance provider to that doctor's office and call it a day. So you eliminate duplicate data entry, you eliminate errors, you eliminate lookups. There's a lot of labor advantage. Now, so what happens in a process that goes from front to back rather than back to front? You know, what does that look like from an agent's perspective? Let's look at the agent screen. And now I'm working for this medical center, and basically I'm going to have a call come in, and I will have, first off, on my desktop, let's give you a little bit of a tour of the desktop. I'm going to have my sidecar for my my knowledge base. It's a parent-child hierarchy with the knowledge base, so I can look up any information to answer questions about procedures. I can do a quick search to find that information. Also, the calendars, I can see any doctor's calendars, any individual clinic's calendars, their hours of operations. That's all going to be included here. I can also embed any kind of a platform that I need. If I needed access to a third-party platform for information about insurance, or what's the deductible, things of that nature, that's all very easy to do. Now, most of the time we're wanting to connect via API and to synchronize data via API, but this is a second option to embed a platform. So I've got my platform embedded. I've got my calendar object for booking my appointments. I have my knowledge base, so I can speak intelligently to whatever the client brings up. And then a phone call comes in. So what does that look like? The patient calls, the system, based on the phone number they're calling from, finds the record automatically, and it brings up all the information. So what are we doing? Making selections to book an appointment. 1, 2, 3. These are the selections we're making. And then what is the client information? And then here is the customer journey, or all the interactions that we've had with this particular client. So if the client said, you know what, I sent you a text message about a procedure, and I believe it was some kind of a laser treatment, laser hair removal, whatever the treatment may be. And I want to know exactly what that procedure was called, because I was very interested in it. You guys have 5 different treatments. I want to know the specific name of that treatment. It'd be really easy for me as the agent to reference that text message. Oh yeah, you were looking at this specific procedure. We have a special on that. You want to book an appointment? Would you like to get in for that? Yes, absolutely, I would. Thank you very much. I finally have time. All right, so then we're going to set the appointment, but we need those 3 parameters, right? So let's imagine that these 3 dropdowns, if you'll just engage with me here on that, these 3 dropdowns represent the data that the agent has to capture. We're going to work the problem, instead of from back to front, we're going to work it from front to back, which means the first things I ask them are you a new patient? Yes or no? We'll make that selection. What is your insurance? We'll type that in, or we'll select that from a list. Very easy to do that. If you have, let me show you what that looks like. If you have big lists of information in insurance providers, you could look them up, or you could add a record if needed with that plus sign right there. So we're going to find the insurance provider, and then what procedure are you looking for? Oh yeah, it was the laser hair removal that's on special. Now, I have 3 pieces of information that are critical for the doctors: new patient, insurance, and procedure. Now, working this from front to back is going to be a lot easier, because I have all the data already in the system. As soon as I make these selections, this calendar over here is going to show me whatever doctor I select. And I could come over here and I could select a doctor from the list, select the doctor, and see the calendar, right? What do they have available? But every doctor that I select is going to be compatible with what this patient needs. I don't have to hunt around. I know that every single doctor on this list fits that criteria. So that is a huge win. What happened in this use case is they took an 11-minute call and they turned it into a 3-minute call. They cut 8 minutes off of their average handle time. They were very happy about that. That is a huge savings in terms of labor. And it actually expanded their business considerably. They had some bottlenecks. They had some unhappy patients as a result. And so they actually did not get rid of any agents. They just saw growth. They implemented our system and they saw growth because there were things they were losing as a result of working that process from back to front, from not having a system that, brings up all the information on a single screen as soon as the call comes in. And look how much time you save. Besides working the process from front to back, when the call comes in and it's automatically loading up the relevant information, that's a huge time savings as well. That's saving you about 1 minute on its own, right? So when we're also talking about cost per click, another factor is going to be, or not cost per click, but I mean click reduction, the labor cost per click, the reduction of labor costs with the amount of clicks that an agent has to do. So in this case, with a couple of clicks, 1, 2, 3 clicks, the agent's able to execute a lot in terms of booking an appointment. Maybe the original process was 20 clicks and we cut it down to 3 or we cut it down to 5. It's a huge, huge labor savings. It's a major game changer for their platform. And, we're essentially considered, we're vital to the operations, not just essential, but vital. And then we talk about being able to measure that, right? Let's measure the success of it. We have the Kpi dashboards. How many calls is it taking to book an appointment? How many appointments are we booking an hour? How many appointments are we booking a day? So you'll be able to see instantly your metrics go up, your improvement of goals. But the beauty of this is we're combining all the interaction data with the use case data. It's all drag and drop. If you double click, you can drill down into any of these. So there's a lot of power built into this, all right? And then we have the process automation piece as well. Process automation is going to be big in terms of click reduction because we're taking a single click. So the starting node represents a single click, kicking off a process that might be, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12 nodes. I do see the labels on that now. So 12 different steps in that process, 3 steps in this sub process, but that's a very simple iteration of it. Yeah, we've eliminated 12 clicks, but how many actions have we eliminated realistically? Because each node has multiple actions that it's performing. It's in one case, it's signing an outbound call and it's showing a script. In another case, it's sending an email. In another case, it's sending a text message. In another case, it's updating information on a record. So each one of these nodes is completing 3 to 4 steps of information. So that's mind-blowing, right? I mean, even though you have 12 nodes, you would think that it would be reducing 12 clicks, a single click to do 12 things. It's actually 36 or more items that are being executed in this data set. So with a single click, so for example, the agent says, I'm going to change this lead from this status to this status. And immediately we've executed 32 processes over time as needed. And the process automation uses business intelligence. So it's not going to move forward unless it makes intelligent sense to move forward to the next step. And once the business process achieves its goal, it's going to stop. It's going to stop with the automation because once you've achieved your goal, you don't need to continue pushing things forward. So that's the beauty of the click reduction within the Ivanix system. Your click reduction or your labor savings for this platform is really contingent or subjective based on how well you use the process automation, right? We give you the tools. Maybe the potential is that you could reduce your labor costs 30%, but it's really up to you to make sure that you work with us and use the tools that we get it configured the way that you need it to function. That's exactly what it's designed for. It's designed for being able to automate work assignments, being able to automate notifications and escalations, being able to automate the SLAs, automate the service level agreements and keep track of the service level agreements. If a service level agreement is breached, it can do an automated escalation. So you have a combination of the two things. And then you also have the ability to do automated tasks, as we've mentioned, to send out automated texts and emails as templates. Behind the scenes, the agent doesn't need to be involved at all. You could do both. You could have the agent select a template and then have the system send it. Or you could just have the system automatically recognize the template that it needs to use for that situation and send it out. So there are many thousands of things that you can do, and it's extraordinarily powerful in that respect. So anyways, that basically wraps up a lot of what we have for click reduction. I just want to recap very quickly. The first point of click reduction that we have is the system is finding the records automatically. And that's huge. I mean, that's usually going to save you at least a minute because the system is finding the record automatically. It's synchronizing in the background with multiple systems if necessary. So you could be pulling in data from Microsoft Dynamics. You could be pulling in data from Salesforce. This platform in and of itself is an enterprise grade CRM, but it plays really well with other systems if you need it to. It's mostly an agent desktop, but it can stand on its own as an enterprise grade CRM. And it interfaces with your contact center. So we're going to have the integration with the contact center. That's how we get the information from the phone call or the text message or the email. And that's how we can pop up all this information automatically. So keep in mind, an email comes in, 4 or 5 pieces of information can fill the screen. A phone call comes in, 4 or 5 different pieces of information can fill up the screen. We show the right screen at the right time. That's the key to this platform. Again, you're saving at least about a minute with that automated lookup per phone call if every phone call is an average of about 4 minutes. Secondly, again, we have the process automation piece. As a sidecar to that, process automation can reduce your clicks by about 15 to 20%. And so that's very powerful in and of itself. Anyways, feel free to reach out to us. Go to our website at ivenix.com. That's www.ivinex.com. Or you can email us to sales@ivenix.com. That's sales@ivinex.com. And basically what we'll do is we'll set up a 20-minute phone call with you. We'll walk through what you want to achieve. We'll understand what your vision is. And then we'll see if it's a good fit. We want to make sure it's a good fit for you, a good fit for us. And if it is, then we'll set some time aside, maybe build a prototype, show you what your screens might look like. So that's the next step, just to take 20 minutes with you, talk through your vision, find out what you're doing currently, and see what kind of problems we solve. The system, especially with the click reduction, usually pays for itself 4 or 5 times over by the time it's implemented. We take great care in getting it implemented properly, and we do help you. We help you to set it up every step of the way, concierge. And we also help you in the way of training to make sure you have really strong agent training and really strong admin training along the way. So anyways, that is a recap of the click reduction and introduction to the unified user experience. Feel free to reach out. We look forward to hearing from you, and have a great day. Goodbye.